Nobody cares about you. That may sound harsh, but it's one of the most liberating truths you can ever embrace. Once you understand that the world isn't sitting around wondering about your every move, worrying about what you think, or eagerly awaiting your next decision, you suddenly gain a freedom like nothing else. You realize that you're free to chart your own course without the burden of others' opinions weighing you down. Nobody is sitting around keeping tabs on your failures, your mistakes, or even your successes. You can take risks, fall down, and get back up without fear of constant judgment from others. Most people are caught up in their own lives, dealing with their own concerns and dreams. They are not analyzing your life as deeply as you may believe. Understanding this is crucial because it means you have the power to live for yourself. You have the ability to define your own path without worrying about others. When you realize that nobody is paying attention to every step you take, you can stop limiting yourself based on what you think others expect from you. Most people don't care about the details of your struggles or your triumphs because they're too wrapped up in their own lives, and that should empower you to push forward with everything you've got. You see, we spend so much time fearing judgment or seeking approval. We hesitate to act because we imagine what others might think. We're afraid of making mistakes, afraid of being laughed at, afraid of standing out. But the truth is, no one is really keeping score. You are the only one tracking every single misstep or hesitation. Most of the people you worry about are too busy worrying about themselves. And if you live your life constantly waiting for someone else to give you permission, you're never going to move. This is your life. It's not meant to be lived in the shadow of others' expectations. Stop letting the fear of what others might think hold you back. Nobody cares if you fail. Nobody cares if you succeed. If you fall flat on your face, the world won't stop spinning. If you achieve your wildest dreams, people might notice for a moment, but soon enough, they'll go back to thinking about their own lives. This isn't a bad thing. It's a gift. It means you can fail as many times as you need to until you get it right. It means you can chase your dreams without fear of constant judgment. Look at the people around you. The ones you imagine judging your every move. They have their own worries, their own concerns, their own challenges. They don't have the time or the energy to track everything you do. They're busy navigating their own lives. So why should you live yours based on their expectations? Why should you care so much about what others think when they're not thinking about you at all? This doesn't mean people don't care about you in a broader sense. Your family, your friends, the people close to you, of course, they care about your well-being. But they are not waiting to analyze every little choice you make. They are not monitoring your every failure or success. When you really get this, you understand how much freedom you have. Freedom to try new things, freedom to make mistakes, and freedom to grow without the weight of constant judgment. We often trap ourselves not because of what others actually think of us, but because of what we imagine they think. We let imaginary opinions control our actions. But how much time have you spent thinking deeply about the lives of others? Probably not as much as you spend thinking about your own. And that's true for everyone else too. Everyone is mainly concerned with their own lives. Once you realize this, you stop being so afraid of trying, so afraid of stepping out, so afraid of being judged. When you free yourself from this imaginary audience, you become unstoppable. You take control of your life. You stop holding back. You take risks because you understand that the only person who is consistently evaluating you is you. The pressure you feel from others is more often than not a creation of your own mind. When you take that pressure off yourself, you can operate with a different level of confidence and drive. You have dreams, goals, things you want to achieve, but for too long you've let the fear of judgment hold you back. You've played it safe, stayed within the lines, and kept yourself in a box. Why? Because you thought someone out there was keeping track. You thought that if you messed up, the world would point and laugh. But they won't. Nobody's paying that much attention. You're free to live your life on your terms. You're free to push yourself without worrying about who's watching. Think about it. How many times have you held yourself back because you were afraid of what others might say or think? How many dreams have you delayed because you didn't want to fail in front of others? How many times have you avoided trying something new because of a fear that people would judge you? Now imagine what would happen if you stopped worrying about that. Imagine the kind of life you could live if you stopped caring about an audience that isn't even there. The reality is your failures aren't as significant to others as they are to you, and neither are your successes. Sure, people might notice for a moment, but they quickly move on. Life moves on, and you should too. The only person you need to impress is yourself. The only approval you need is your own. When you get that, you stop living in fear. You stop holding yourself back. Most of the limits we face are self-imposed. They come from our own fears, our own insecurities. And many of those fears are tied to what we think others are thinking about us, but nobody cares that much. And that's a powerful truth. Because if nobody cares, you are free to be who you are. You are free to try, free to fail, and free to succeed without worrying about the opinions of others. You're free to live your life without waiting for someone else to give you permission. The world is not holding its breath, waiting for you to fail. The world is not keeping score. The truth is, most people are far more concerned with themselves than they are with you. And that's liberating. It means you don't have to be perfect. It means you don't have to live up to some imaginary standard set by others. You only need to live up to the standard you set for yourself. So take that risk. Go after that goal. Stop hesitating. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, or the perfect approval. Those things don't exist. What exists is right now. And right now you have the chance to go after what you want. You have the chance to live life on your own terms, free from the imagined judgment of others. When you stop caring about what others think, you take the first step toward real success. Because success is not about the approval of others. It's about living in a way that aligns with your values, your dreams, and your goals. It's about waking up each day, knowing that you're chasing what matters to you, not what you think matters to someone else. You have one life, one shot. Don't waste it worrying about an audience that isn't there. Don't waste it living for the approval of people who aren't thinking about you as much as you think. You are the one in control. You are the one who gets to decide how you live. The only thing holding you back is the fear that others might be watching. But they're not. And even if they are, their opinions don't matter. What matters is that you live a life that you're proud of. A life where you chased your dreams, took risks, and lived fully. You're not here to live a life that pleases everyone else. You're here to live a life that fulfills you. A life where you take the chances you need to take. A life where you push yourself beyond your comfort zone. A life where you fail and learn and grow without the fear of judgment holding you back. Once you let go of the idea that others are constantly watching and judging you, you're free to step into your own power. You're free to go after the things you truly want. You're free to fail and to succeed on your own terms. This is your life, and no one else is going to live it for you. So stop worrying about the opinions of others. Stop living in fear of what people might think, and start living for yourself. When you stop caring about what others think, you become unstoppable. It's a shift in perspective that changes everything. You begin to see opportunities instead of obstacles. You realize that every failure is just another step towards success, and you stop fearing it. You start to understand that the only person who has the power to stop you is you. And when you take that power back, when you stop letting fear and doubt hold you hostage, the possibilities become endless. People often think that others are waiting for them to mess up, but that's not the case. The reality is most people aren't paying that much attention, and those who are, they're not the ones living your life. They're not the ones who have to wake up every day and face your challenges. They're not the ones who will feel the regret if you hold yourself back. That's all on you. You carry the weight of your decisions, and you reap the rewards of your actions. So make sure those actions are aligned with what you want, not what you think others want for you. If you keep living for others, you will never reach your full potential. You'll always be playing it safe, trying to fit into a mold that wasn't made for you. You'll always be second-guessing yourself, hesitating when you should be moving forward. And in the end, you'll look back and realize that you lived your life based on the opinions of people who didn't really care about you in the first place. That's the greatest tragedy of all. To live a life that isn't yours. But you don't have to let that happen. You can choose right now to take control. You can choose to stop worrying about what others think and start focusing on what you think. What do you want out of life? What are your goals, your dreams, your passions? That's what matters. Not what anyone else thinks. Not what anyone else says. The moment you start living for yourself is the moment you start truly living. It's easy to get caught up in seeking validation from others. We all want to be liked. We all want to feel accepted. But the problem comes when we start living our lives for that acceptance. When we start making decisions based on what we think will make others happy, rather than what will make us happy. That's a dangerous road, and it's one that leads to a life of mediocrity. A life where you never take the risks you need to take, where you never push yourself beyond what's comfortable, because you're too afraid of what others might say. But the truth is, nobody is thinking about you as much as you think they are. People are too busy dealing with their own lives, their own struggles, their own dreams. They don't have time to focus on you. And even if they do notice something you've done, it's fleeting. They move on. So why are you letting the fear of judgment stop you? Why are you holding yourself back because of what someone else might think, when in reality, they're not thinking about you at all? Once you realize this, you gain a new level of freedom. You stop holding back. You stop playing it safe. You start taking the steps you've been too afraid to take. You start living boldly, making decisions based on what's best for you, not what you think others will approve of. You stop letting the fear of failure control you because you understand that failure is part of the process. And when you fail, the world doesn't end. People don't stop what they're doing to point fingers. They keep moving. And so should you. Failure is a part of success. It's not something to be feared. It's something to be embraced because it's through failure that we learn, that we grow, that we improve. Every successful person has failed, often many times before they got it right. But they didn't let the fear of what others might think stop them. They didn't let the opinions of others dictate their path. They kept moving forward, learning from their mistakes, and pushing themselves to be better. You have that same power within you. You have the ability to fail and get back up, to keep pushing even when things don't go as planned. But you'll never tap into that power if you're constantly worrying about what others think. You'll never reach your full potential if you're afraid to take risks, afraid to put yourself out there because you're scared of being judged. Nobody is sitting around waiting for you to fail, and nobody's keeping score. The only scorecard that matters is your own. Are you living up to your own expectations? Are you pushing yourself to be the best version of yourself? That's what matters. Not what anyone else thinks, not what anyone else says. When you start living for yourself, everything changes. You stop holding back. You stop playing small. You start going after the things you truly want in life. You take risks, you make mistakes, and you keep moving forward. You stop worrying about what others think because you realize that their opinions don't matter. What matters is that you're living a life that's true to who you are, that you're chasing the things that matter to you, that you're not letting fear or doubt or the opinions of others hold you back. This is your life. It's not meant to be lived for anyone else. You weren't put here to make everyone else happy. You were put here to live fully, to push yourself, to grow, to chase your dreams, to make an impact in the way that only you can. But you can't do that if you're constantly worrying about what others think. You can't do that if you're living your life based on the opinions of people who aren't even thinking about you in the first place. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for approval. You don't need it. The only approval you need is your own. The only person you need to impress is yourself. When you start living that way, when you stop caring about what others think, you become unstoppable. You start to see opportunities where before you saw obstacles. You start to take risks, to push yourself, to go after the things you truly want. And in doing so, you start to live a life that's truly yours. Don't waste another moment living for the approval of others. Don't waste another day holding yourself back because you're afraid of what someone else might think. Nobody cares as much as you think they do. They're not watching as closely as you imagine. They're too busy living their own lives, dealing with their own challenges, chasing their own dreams. So live for yourself. Chase your own dreams. Take the risks you need to take. Push yourself to be better every day, not because you want someone else's approval, but because you want to live a life that you're proud of. A life where you can look back and say, I gave it my all. I didn't hold back. I didn't let fear or doubt stop me. That's what it's all about. Living your life fully, pushing yourself beyond what's comfortable, chasing your dreams without fear, and realizing that, in the end, the only person who truly cares about your life, your choices, your successes, and your failures is you. So make sure you're living in a way that makes you proud. When you live for yourself, you'll start to see a shift in how you approach each day. The weight of trying to live up to others' expectations will fall away. You'll feel lighter, stronger, and more determined. You'll no longer be trapped by the invisible chains of judgment. You'll take action because you want to, not because you feel like you have to. You'll stop hesitating at every crossroad, questioning whether you're making the right choice based on someone else's opinion. The only opinion that will matter is yours, and that's where true freedom comes from. Think about what happens when you let go of the need for approval. You stop wasting time worrying about whether others will support your choices. You stop overanalyzing every decision, trying to predict how people will react. Instead, you focus on what you want. You take bold steps forward without hesitation. You're not distracted by thoughts of rejection, disapproval, or failure. You're focused on progress, growth, and achieving the goals that mean the most to you. In fact, most of the limitations in life are self-imposed. We build walls around ourselves based on what we think others expect from us. We avoid risks, fearing how others will perceive us if we stumble. But once you realize that most people are too busy managing their own lives to care about every move you make, you can tear down those walls. You can stop living in a box and start reaching for things you never thought were possible. Let me ask you this: how many opportunities have you let pass by because of fear? How many times have you stayed quiet when you wanted to speak up? How often have you wanted to try something new but didn't because you were afraid of failing in front of others? You have probably spent more time holding yourself back than taking the chances you truly wanted. Why? Because you were worried about what people might think if you didn't succeed. But now, with the understanding that most people aren't watching you as closely as you imagined, it's time to take back control. There's no longer a reason to hold back. You don't need to worry about getting it perfect. You don't need to worry about whether everyone approves. It's your life. You are the one living it. So why give others so much power over your choices? Why give them the ability to shape your future when they're not the ones who will face the consequences or reap the rewards? The truth is, you'll never please everyone. No matter how hard you try, there will always be people who don't agree with your decisions, who criticize your actions, or who don't understand your vision. But that's okay. You don't need everyone to understand or agree with you. The only person who needs to believe in your path is you. The only person who needs to understand your reasons is you. And once you embrace that, you become unshakable. You may encounter resistance, you may face criticism, but none of that will matter if you're living in a way that is true to yourself. The people who genuinely support you will stand by you. And those who don't, they don't need to be part of your journey. It's not your job to convince them or win them over. You only need to keep moving forward, focused on your own goals, your own dreams, and your own path. Every day that you hold back because of fear is a day you lose. Every opportunity you pass up because you're worried about what others might think is an opportunity wasted. But the beauty of life is that it's never too late to start. No matter how much time you've spent worrying about others' opinions, you can start living differently today. You can stop caring about what others think and start making choices that align with your true self. It's not about being reckless or ignoring the people you care about. It's about finding the courage to live your life fully, without being paralyzed by the fear of judgment. The people who truly matter will respect you more when you're living authentically. They'll appreciate your courage and your determination. And those who don't understand, that's not your problem to solve. You can't carry the weight of their opinions with you. It's too heavy, and it's unnecessary. There is something incredibly powerful about living authentically. When you stop pretending, stop hiding, stop holding back, you start to attract the right opportunities, the right people, and the right experiences into your life. You start to align with who you really are, and everything begins to flow more naturally. You're no longer fighting to fit into someone else's version of who you should be. You're no longer struggling to live up to others' expectations. Instead, you're living in a way that feels right to you. Living authentically doesn't mean you won't face challenges. In fact, you may face more, but the difference is that those challenges will be worth it because they're part of a journey that's true to you. You'll know that every obstacle you overcome, every setback you face, is moving you closer to your goals, not someone else's. And that makes all the difference. The fear of judgment is something that holds many people back. It's what keeps dreams on hold and potential untapped. But once you realize that nobody is paying as much attention to you as you think, that fear loses its grip. You start to see that you've been your own biggest obstacle all along. And once you stop standing in your own way, you can achieve things you never thought possible. You are capable of more than you realize, but you'll never tap into that potential if you keep letting fear dictate your actions. You'll never see what you're truly capable of if you keep holding back because you're worried about what others might think. It's time to stop giving others so much power over your life. It's time to take that power back and start living for yourself. When you do, you'll see the world in a different light. You'll realize that the only person who can define your success is you. The only person who can determine your worth is you. And the only person who truly knows what you're capable of is you. So stop waiting for others to give you permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect conditions. They don't exist. What exists is this moment right now and your ability to take action. The greatest regret most people have at the end of their lives is not the things they did, but the things they didn't do, the chances they didn't take, the dreams they didn't chase. Don't let that be your story. Don't let the fear of what others think hold you back from living the life you truly want. You have the power to shape your future. You have the ability to take risks, to make mistakes, to learn, and to grow. But you'll never tap into that power if you're constantly worried about how others might perceive you. Let go of that worry. Let go of the fear. And start living boldly. This is your time. This is your life. And nobody is going to live it for you. So stop holding back. Stop playing it safe. Stop waiting for the world to tell you it's okay to go after what you want. You don't need their permission. You don't need their approval. All you need is the belief that you can do it. All you need is the determination to keep moving forward, no matter what. You are capable of more than you know. You are stronger than you think. And once you stop caring about what others think, you'll realize that there's nothing you can't achieve. So go out there. Take risks. Fail, succeed, live, and do it all for you. Because at the end of the day, nobody cares about your life as much as you do. And that's the greatest freedom you'll ever have.